There are so many different ways to tell the story of Joseph and his brothers, the story that we read in this week's parasha. And the Broadway musical version of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat focuses on the aspect of Joseph as a dreamer. And of course, this appears directly in the text. When the brothers see Joseph approaching, they say, Hine Baal HaChalomot Halazeh Ba. This dreamer is approaching. That's how we think about Joseph at his core. He is someone who dreams. He dreams big. He dreams a fantastical vision of his brothers all bowing down to him. And what do you know? His dream does come true. It doesn't come true exactly, perhaps, the way that he imagined. And it doesn't come true without some suffering and some challenge, quite a bit of difficulty in his life. But that dream that we begin the story with becomes a reality in Joseph's later years. And that's what captures our imagination about this character, about Joseph being the dreamer. This week, of course, we'll celebrate Hanukkah. And it too is a story that has so many different aspects, so many different angles to it. And over time and in different texts throughout our Jewish history, we may have focused on one aspect of the holiday or another. There's, of course, the military victory, Rabim Biyad Me'atim, as we say in our Al Hanisim prayer that we insert into our liturgy, that it was the many in the hands of the few, that those Maccabees prevailed over their enemies. That was the story of Hanukkah. Of course, there's also the story of religious freedom and the ability to practice a religion that is different than its surrounding cultures. That also is the story of Hanukkah. But the aspect of the story that captures the imagination of the rabbis of the Talmud and of many religious leaders is this being the story of light, the story of bringing light to the darkness. And it was the Slonimer Rebbe, the Netivot Shalom, who wrote about the war, the Greek war against the Jewish people, as a war of darkness against light. He wrote, the essence of the Greek war to destroy the Jews was by means of darkening the eyes of Israel. The Greeks knew that they would not be able to successfully defeat the Jews by military means, rather only by darkening their eyes. And of course, he goes on to explain that what he means by darkness is spiritual darkness, is a sense of a spiritual warfare that was happening. And this very literal light that we're bringing with the Chanukiot, with the Hanukkah candles, is about that spiritual light of the Jewish people that prevails in darkness throughout history and against many different enemies. Rabbi David Hartman writes very beautifully about the miracle of the oil. Of course, that's the miracle that is written about in the Talmud, that they miraculously found this tiny cruse of oil that was only meant to burn for one day, and it burned for 8 days and nights. And he asks the question that many have asked, why do we celebrate this festival for 8 days if we know the oil would have burned for that first day, and it was only a 7-day miracle after that. And he writes, the community's willingness to light the lamp, in spite of the fact that its anticipated period of burning was short-lived. This miracle of the first day was the community's willingness to light a small cruse of oil without reasonable assurance that their efforts would be sufficient to complete the rededication of the temple. Hanukkah, he writes, celebrates the miracle expressed by those who lit the lamp, and not only the miracle of the lamps continuing to burn for 8 days. Having a dream, having a belief, having a sense that light will prevail. This is what captures our imagination. I think we all want to be dreamers. We want to strive for something that feels impossible, that seems miraculous. We all have a little bit of Joseph in us, the Baal HaChalomot, the man of dreams. And yes, we've faced many challenges to our religion and to our national story, but it is the light in the darkness, that sense that each of us as an individual and collectively as a community can give hope to an uncertain future. That's the story that Joseph reminds us of, and that's the story of Hanukkah that we tell and retell. That story of the oil isn't really about the substance of what might burn and for how long it might burn, but it's the faith and the hope in a big dream. Now we know that there are challenges and that our dreams might not look really the way that we imagine them to begin with, but Hanukkah is telling us to keep dreaming, to keep lighting that lamp, that flame. And as we light the flames of Hanukkah and we increase in our light throughout the week, I hope that we can find something to be hopeful about. As you make your way through this week ahead, think about adding light, adding holiness, adding optimism and positivity, and think about that dream, whatever dream it is that you hold. Keep dreaming, keep hoping, and I wish you a happy Hanukkah and a Shabbat Shalom.